Great. Okay. So I suppose I have to start afresh. So I want to welcome everyone to another session, AMA session at Crypto Miners. And my name is Jenny, and most of you know me, and I'm your host as usual. And today we have the privilege of talking with the team from DLANCE. And we have Alec here, who's going to be representing the team and talking to us about the project. So, as I always say, if you are new to any of our sessions here and you have any question that you would like to ask the team, please stay with us till the end of the session. And then, you know, um, when it's time for questions, we'll try to take as many of your questions as we can. All right. So, we have lost about 9 minutes, due to a lot of technicalities and issues with the sound, but I suppose we can because I already.
Hello, can you hear me? Hi, Jenny. Just a mic test.
Hi, I can hear you very well.
Great. Can you also bring up ASCA 47, ASKA 47?
Okay, just a
Yeah.
second.
I think he's already requested to be a speaker.
Yeah, I see him.
Cool.
Right.
And we are ready to begin after that. Let me know.
Okay. Um, he's been given permission to speak, and then so let's start. All right. Could we begin maybe with an introduction of the team, preferably, and maybe some background into the team, especially prior to the development of the DLANCE project, before we go into the overview.
Sure. Uh, First of all, thank you so much for inviting us. I am Alek. I am the head of community, and ASCA is, uh, community manager here with the DLANCE team. So see, Deelance is I'll supported by a global team of Web3 and Metaverse experts. So our team consists of over about 40 members, including marketing, development team, influencers, advisors, moderators. What this does is it gives us the ability to create innovative solutions, in the freelancing world, using blockchain technology, metaverse, NFT, subscription models to transform employment process, right? So that's what we are doing right now. And if you ask about the overall experience of the team, our founders, Kiran Dameti, he has a 20 years, 2 decades of experience in technology and engineering. They've been building a lot of products earlier. Even similar is with our co-founder who's built and delivered innovative communication solutions across all paid search media. And he has been associated with different companies, some based out of London and other places. Our advisor, has been a co-founder of Battle Infinity. That's again a games platform. And there, we have a lot of project head, Robert, and then senior developers. So we have a lot of experience in the team. And if you want to go and have a look at the detailed all the team bios are available in the DLANCE platform, right? So we have our CMO Deba, who's has an experience about 7 years, who's an expert in content and marketing and business development. And then we have experience, people like Adnan, who's a security expert. He's done around 1,000 plus assignments in the past 3 years, so that's a very very good experience. He also has worked on launchpads, DeFi protocols, cutting edge Web3 applications, and we have a social media manager, Gurpreet, and different other people as well in the team. So I think that should give you an idea about the team itself.
Thank you. Um, Very detailed introduction. Uh, Moving on to the overview, I would like to open with this question. Um, what is freelance? Was there any? I mean, there has to have been a specific challenge or a problem that you observed in the freelancing industry in general that sort of motivated its development. Could you tell us about it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There are actually a lot of problems in traditional freelancing world. And first of all, I would like to cover the communication. Personally, for me, I mean, it happened to me too. The communication is taking weeks, if not months. So if I apply for a job, I can receive an answer in literally months. So it's not really a good thing. That's the first problem. The second one would be the lack of transparency and control over data ownership and use after the work being commissioned. And all that leads to exploitation of biodata by targeted advertising campaigns and stuff like this. And of course, there's an ability to fully showcase some experience through traditional resume and just basically a piece of paper. For example, one could not just possibly fit into a piece of paper if he's an artist or something like this, right? And of course, the long payment cycles, high commissioned and centralized systems in general involving banks. So basically, anything you do through traditional hiring platform will be also charged by somebody else. So of course, there's always a third party, the facilitator, the host. But when it's a centralized system, they kind of control everything, and the fees are really high because of this. So we're tackling this also. And of course, the next problem would be advertising low-ranked services because that's how the platforms work. That's how they make money, and this discourages freelancers from earning their fair wage because only the people who give ads basically earn more, right? So this is another problem. And of course, there's one more. Um, Traditional system requires additional documents and skill tests before making gigs, and they ban sellers of specific regions and can purge less skilled freelancers. Just everything the centralized system brings on the table, it's there, right? It's, all of this is a problem. So how do we solve this? First of all, like the first things, of course, it's the showcasing of your experience. Of course, you can have an office and you can set up everything on the walls. You can literally put everything that happened in your life there, right? And I don't know how people think about it in general, but I believe that any experience any of us ever had is very important. And I would love to, for all people who try and hire me, for example, to know about most of my experience at least, to share some of it, right? Because some of it may be familiar to them and we can connect on a different level instantly. So, of course, the Metaverse office is the best way to showcase your experience. The second one would be the solutions I made. The second one would be creating micro communities in the metaverse where freelancers and buyers can network and just communicate way faster than in real life and on any traditional platform that we know. Of course, there's transparency with a smart contract, and all the work is being done through the smart contract, right? So it's only going one way. DLANCE is built on Web3 tech in general, and this provides a decentralized ecosystem where all the centralized problems are not the case. Of course, we also have the lowest fees on the market, and everything is done through crypto, so the payments are fast and secure. And of course, the simple sign up process. I mean, I already covered it a bit when I was talking about traditional companies requiring documents and skill tests and all that kind of stuff, and really controlling the market. We only provide tests to figure out if your level of competency is the one that you say. So it's just really easy. It's made by other freelancers alike. So everything is kind of peer-to-peer checked. So it's just really transparent and clear. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. I'm sorry if it was a bit too extended, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah, your voice is so peaceful. Um,
Thank you.
all right, but yeah, you covered everything. Yeah, and I like how you went ahead and told us about the solution because I was going to follow up with a question, about how DLANCE in features or tools, yes, provided by DLANCE to facilitate effective communication. The problems that you noted. I could really relate to the part about communication. So, what are the features, key features or tools provided by DLANCE to facilitate effective communication? Freelancers and
Well, I would say the main thing is the office, of course, like the office with a the, because it's just a big ecosystem inside one place. And of course, if it's a freelancing office, everything is showcased on the walls, as I said before. And I believe personally, and I think many will believe this too, that this facilitates an amazing experience for both HR and freelancer because they can really connect faster and understand if they're fit for one another way quicker. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't compare it to Tinder in terms of quick, but of course, it's not the traditional way where it takes weeks and months like we used to. But in general, there's also a lobby arena, right? The place where people can network without an office and just all together. And of course, we're gonna try to build like a whole system where people have access to small micro communities that they're interested in. So, for example, if I'm interested in Ethereum, right, I go into Deelance, go to Lobby Arena, and I check Ethereum chats that are available, and people there will be talking about Ethereum, right? And all of them, or most of them, will have their offices and their stuff to showcase in the metaverse, so you can instantly use it as a social network of a sort, right? And of course, probably for me, the key feature of Deelance is a tokenization of work with the option of royalties, making the process of work like transferring ownership transparent and effective for both sides. And I don't believe I've seen this before. So yeah, we're trying to build something really groundbreaking. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, on the part about not having, like having not seen something like this before, I think I'm inclined to agree. As somebody with, building a career path in Web3, I can totally agree that this is, honestly, I want to use the word crucial, because I have yet to see any project come up with solutions to, the problems in freelancing. And this is something that affects majority of us in the Web3 space. So I guess I can totally relate to that. Now, I know that you touched on this, right? But I would like you to go over it again. And this is the process of or should I say, how you vet and onboard um freelancers, especially, yes, on DLANCE. Like, what are the measures that have been put in place to ensure high quality talent? If you could just go over this once more before we move along.
Yeah, so I'll take that. See, like Aska already explained, the set of features that we are building to enable the freelancing community as well as the business side, with Metaverse, NFT marketplace, and NFTifying the work which is being done by the freelancers. See, to onboard uh, freelancers on Deelance, we are going to have a local ambassadors program, which will kind of enhance our global presence. And what we also going to do is, employ a variety of methods to attract the users, like uh, affiliate programs, social media, influencer and content marketing, an ambassador program as well as promotions, between different projects. See, the idea is to attract as many users and help them navigate our ecosystem by providing them with resources and tools. We'll also help. So for native Web 2 people, we're going to enable and have tutorials like Web3 wallet setup guidance, access to metaverse communities where they can create micro communities and have their questions answered within the DLANCE ecosystem as well. And our again, one priority is to have a very, very user friendly interface, which will empower a lot of users to find and apply for projects easily. Also for companies, which will be able to effectively hunt for top talent on DLANCE. So that's some of the ways that we're going to do. And also to get the top talent, we're going to have, say, some questionnaire or basic test to make sure that people who are qualified enough are able to enter the platform and provide their services. So that's another way of getting the top talent on the DLANCE. ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I'd like to know, how would you address the issue of fair pricing, for freelance services? Are there any guidelines or mechanisms in place to ensure that freelancers are compensated appropriately for their work?
See, ideal way of compensation is decided between the freelancer as well as the job provider. It could be a company, it could be somebody who's doing gig, right? Our responsibility is to make sure that that there's transparency maintained, in the kind of work which is asked for and the work is driven. That's the reason why building it on a blockchain, and we're going to have all these transactions on chain, including an NDA as well as the contract signing, which will be embedded or hosted on the blockchain itself, right? So that's one way of doing it. The other is the work that needs to be done. Say, I'll give you an example here. So if you're a designer and you have taken up a gig, right? So what happens is when you have to deliver that work to the job provider, that work will be given in the form of an NFT, which means it kind of registered on the blockchain that you've given that work, and based on acknowledgement by the job giver, the if, like the work is to satisfaction and they like the work, it will be the transaction or the amount that you had finalized between both parties will automatically be delivered as a crypto to the freelancer, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that this is transparent, fast, and easy for everybody. Hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Now, you mentioned NFT, which is great because um, I would like to know, going through the white paper, I saw that one of the key things that you intend to build is the uh, NFT marketplace. So I am wondering how it all like ties in. Like, are you saying that you mentioned about the NFTs, you talked about it, that will people now be able to trade these NFTs that you've just mentioned? Is that what the purpose of the marketplace is for solely? Could you just give us a little bit of explanation about the NFT marketplace and how it'll contribute to the overall growth of the DLANCE system?
Yeah, absolutely. So the main reason, of course, is to facilitate trade for any marketplace. And we're going to facilitate trade of regular NFTs used not on our platform, and of course, of all the tokenized work commissioned on our platform. So we just believe in making any work reusable and easy to access for all the people. And we want to make the freelancing deals that people commission every day worth a bit more, because we think the fact that they can be reused just opens up like a whole new market. So yeah, that's the main purpose of the NFT marketplace.
All right. Um,
I'm sorry. I really wanted to add that, of course, all the offices, the land plots, buildings, all that kind of stuff is also going to be sold in form of NFTs on our NFT marketplace. So yeah, I mean, it's just like a key opening the whole ecosystem, the NFT marketplace itself. Yep.
all right. Thank you for that. Now, I would like to know for a system like this, I feel like, of course, feedback and insights are very, very important. So could you provide some should I say insights, yes, into the sort of feedback and rating system on DLANCE? Like, how does it contribute to maintaining a reliable and trustworthy service all around?
Yeah, sure. So every time a piece of work is commissioned on our platform, both freelancer and the recruiter will have a chance to provide feedback regarding their experience with one another. Also, apart from that, every freelancer specializing in any field will take regular tests made by other freelancers from this field to prove their level of expertise. This way, we're trying to ensure that the space is free of bad actors, and every person who has their experience showcased completely has it correct, right? And truthful. Yeah. Yep.
Right. Okay. I would like to talk about fun. Well, this is from the aspect of an investor. We have talked about the product that you intend to deliver, which is great. Of course, the product determines the longevity of the entire project. But from the perspective of an investor, somebody who's just waiting, like, okay, I would like to buy into this project. I would like to be invested in this project. I think there's a key question that comes to mind looking at everything that's been developed so far, and that is the source of funding. You want to know, okay, how have they been able to fund development so far? Where did they get funding from? Was it like out of team pocket? Was there some sort of seed sale? Was there any VC backing? So if you could just answer that question for us real quick before we talk about other aspects of the token.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
think
absolutely. Do you want to take this, Alec?
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly answer. Basically, we have funding from investors, and we have huge funding from our pre-sale, which is still live on the website. And we've already raised around 1.5 million USDT. So, yeah, that's where the funds for development are coming from, and also going. Like that's the main reason they're going to development. Marketing is only like a fraction of it, considering Metaverse is really expensive to develop. Yep.
Okay. In
To
that
you,
same
Alec.
vein, okay, right.
I
In
just
that
thought
same
Alec
vein,
wanted to add something, yeah?
all right. Um, so before I ask about, of course, I'm supposed to follow up with the question. You mentioned that you have funding from investors, and of course, your pre-sale that is live, right? So instead of me just going straight up to ask about the vesting schedule, I would just like to put it under the general umbrella of the tokenomics. So if you could provide more information on the DLANCE tokenomics, including its distribution, utility, and any mechanisms for sort of incentivizing participation within the DLANCE system.
Sure. See the total, so as with any project, there is a tokenomics here as well, right? The total supply of DLANCE is 1 billion, so that's 1 billion, which is divided into seven pools. So 30% is being allocated for pre-sale, which is kind of going on right now. I also want to clarify there is no vesting on it, right? 10% to the liquidity pool and 2% for rewards, while 16% of DLANCE tokens will be held for CEX listings. See, the tokens offered in the pre-sale will be unlocked on TGE. All right. So while the rest 10% is kind of allocated for the team, 18% is reserved for platform development, and 14% for advisors and partnerships, which will be unlocked for 12 to 36 months and will be released gradually, right? So also what happens is, well, like what Delance is trying to do is create micro communities in the metaverse where buyers and creative freelancers can meet, discuss ideas, network, and form bonds. So here, what we're trying to do is again, like we've stated earlier, to make sure that the overall process for taking a job and having a metaverse office, there are different offices available, is very easy for people, and it's a new experience. And this will not only be for, how do I say it, you know. For professional work, you can also hold your gigs and community meetups and stuff like that. You can buy through the token again. You can buy the NFTs. You can buy the metaverse land and several other use cases. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. Now, you mentioned that there is no vesting. And real quick, do you do you have any concerns regarding that? Because and this is my personal opinion, from my experience in the space, especially with projects that have good use case and utility to offer, I'm usually more inclined to invest in healthy sums when I see that there is a vesting, a vesting schedule. Do you, what are your thoughts regarding the fact that you do not have a vesting schedule? Do you think that this is going to be, in any way um harmful to the charts, especially at launch, especially at launch?
Well, as of now, we've been very, like we've been doing very well. All our pre-sale rounds have been sold out. And like you mentioned, we've already raised around 1.5 million only by sale of tokens. So we don't see a challenge, with vesting as the key requirement for making a successful project. Thank you.
All right. All right. Now let's talk about another important aspect, and this is the part the or without partnerships in the work. Not just any kind of partnership, ones that demonstrates DLANCE's commitment, a real world and growth of the entire system.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you clearly. Eska, were you able to get the question?
I will
No,
take
not
that again.
really. No.
Thank you.
Right. I said I wanted to talk about partnerships, because it's a very, very important part, right? And so are there any partnerships or collaborations in the works that demonstrate DLANCE's commitment to real world adoption and the growth of the entire system?
Oh, yes, absolutely. We are going to be looking for partnerships. In fact, we already have a partnership with Plan Now Connect as of today. We've already have a partnership with them, and the team is obviously working with a lot at the back end. To have a lot of other strategic partnerships to grow the project. And like I said, we're also going to have ambassador program, and there were several other marketing tools at our disposal, including the AMS that we are doing, right, to promote the project. Thank you.
I would also love to add that visiting the universities is also a big plan, and I don't know if this can be called partnership, but we're trying to onboard big recruiting companies also, and yeah, we're just trying to facilitate the transfer from Web 2 to Web 3 as like as seamless as possible, because that's the whole idea, right? To make freelancing seamless as possible. So we don't want people to be scared of crypto. We don't want people to be discouraged by making a wallet once. So we'll try to make our best to facilitate this, yeah, for everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, Eska. I like that you um mentioned that, because I was going to throw a question that had to do with something like this, and I was going to ask how your marketing will not just target people in the Web3 space, but seek to people who are sort of like a transition. So I'm glad that you touched on that. But you mentioned going to universities as a big plan that you have, right? But um, is this going to be limited to certain areas, maybe limited to where the team is based, or is it something that will grow, you know, outside, to reach other countries?
No, we're absolutely like available for everyone in any country, which is also the foundation which we're trying to build on. And we're gonna have AI translation tools like in every office and of course in every conference room. So we're trying to just bring professionals to their work opportunities. That's basically it. So everything we can make to like facilitate this process without any fraction is what we're trying to do. Yeah.
Beautiful. One more thing. When we were starting off, Alec mentioned something about local ambassadors, So I was kind of wondering, do you not think that do you think that will may not be cost effective? Because I feel like if you have local ambassadors going to, vet freelancers and all of that, is that not going to be very costly, to maintain?
I don't see that, as a challenge. Can you hear me? Okay. Hello, Jenny.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah. So see, the idea of ambassador program is to have your people in local communities, right? So, for example, if you want to, deal with some colleges in Indonesia, having a local person who can talk in the same dialect would be much better in communicating the idea what Deelance is trying to do and have people on board. Whereas, somebody who doesn't speak a local dialect and, do that. Plus, the mobilization of ambassadors is much faster from within the community, in the local community, than actually going ahead and sending somebody over from a different country or probably different region. We're not saying that we'll have one per city of every country, no, but having local ambassadors would definitely be much better in terms of even faster turnaround for our presentation, as well as talking to different community members, answering them questions. Because when you have new people, like you mentioned, we want to talk to a lot of Web 2 native companies as well as universities. So asking their questions, they'll have tons of questions of, why DLANCE, what are the benefits. So answering them would be, for answering them quickly, ambassador program is also required. Thank you.
Thank you so much for answering that. Um, One last question before I open it up to the community. And that question would be, say I was interested in becoming a local ambassador. How is that going to work? What do I have to do to become a local ambassador? What is the criteria?
Well, in terms of criteria, we're still working on the fine semantics of defining every role within the organization. How we're going to approach ambassador. One thing for sure would be required is that you'll have a lot of local connect. That is one thing that would definitely be required over a period of time. Any other details, qualifications, you should obviously know about Web3 technologies, Metaverse, what DLANCE is trying to do. You should know what DLANCE is doing. Again, understand it to the core so that you can become our representative. These are few things which would definitely be required. And if there are any other, we are still defining the whole role and purpose out of it. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Um, Another question off to my head, but I'm going to ask you a question, and then maybe I'll just chip it in towards the end of this.
Sure.
All right. So I will take some questions. Let's see. Um Mia, Mia,
All right. Good day. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Am I audible?
yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to know. Do decentralized have any platform? Do I say have any platform where users, that's where sellers and buyers will be able to negotiate the price of their goods and services? And also, what mechanism are in place to ensure that freelancers who actually qualified for the jobs in which they apply for? Thank you.
I'll answer the second part first because I didn't really hear the first part well. So the mechanics to ensure that there are no bad actors are the tests that freelancers are going to take regularly, and also, of course, the signing up test. So when you sign up, and for example, you're a Python developer, a junior Python developer, and you put that in as your proficiency, and you get a junior Python developer test. And of course, nobody sees the results of it, but if you don't pass it, you can be qualified as a junior Python developer. And this is the first step. So after that, as I said before, after each commission job, also like the freelancer and the hiring person will both have the ability to leave comments about each other. So this way, in a couple gigs, you already have some rating. So there, there, there shouldn't be any case where anyone applying for any job is not qualified for it.
Yeah. Thank you for the answer. Also, like you said, you didn't get to hear my first question. I was actually trying to ask if decentralized have any platform where
Any job is not qualified for it.
have any platform where buyers and sellers will be able to negotiate the terms and price of the services before payments. Thank you.
Well, if I understood that correctly, you are asking about, if the terms of service can be negotiated between the freelancer and the job provider. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yes,
That's
yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely. So see, what we are trying to do is, we're going to enhance the experience and giving, a lot of transparency to the whole um job between a freelancer as well a job giver, right? Probably a company or an individual. But the regular mechanisms of communication would still play, would still be available at your disposal. What you can do is, set up a meeting in the Metaverse office, go ahead and meet the job provider, discuss the terms of service, like what would be the cost of that you need for the job that you're doing, and then they can define, how much tenure is required. So those kind of discussions can still happen, and all those can be logged before you actually take up the job. Thank you. I think Aska also has something to add here.
All right. Thanks for your
Uh,
wonderful answers.
I wanted to add
Sorry.
that, of course, if you're asking about custom smart contracts and the ability to make custom settings during any deal, I'm not sure this is going to be possible from the get-go, but of course, we have this in mind and we're working on it.
Thank you, Mia, for the question. And let's see, Julian. You can go ahead with your question, Julian.
Okay, thank you very much. My question for Deelance is I want to know, like, apart from the low fee and fast payment services, what other ways can freelancers on Deelance ecosystem be able to grow and make more profits? And also, like, I also want to know, like, what are the maximum or minimum amount of token can a user hold to be able to secure a whitelist spot for the rare premium NFTs? That's my question.
Well, I can definitely say that we have no number for the second part of your question. I have no idea how much DLANCE token one needs to hold. I think that is to be defined based on the amount of people who already bought it. Because when the whitelists are going to be rolling, we're of course going to have the exact amount, right? But at the moment, the amount of people that are buying token is still growing. People are buying token every day, so there's no way to say right now.
Okay, thank you. And also, I want to know, like, as a freelancer in Deelance.com, how secured are users' assets and ownership in Web2 platform? And like, what processes or measures have you bring or onboard Web3, which is safer, to onboard Web3, which is actually safer?
That's a great question. 1 second.
Thank you.
Yep. So I'll start with the intellectual property part of the question and ownership of work in general, right? So all the work that is commissioned on the platform is transferred to the owner in form of NFT, meaning that the owner of the NFT has full rights over it. And however, if both sides agree on royalties to set them in place, this is also a thing that can be done, right? Effectively transferring a percent of every deal that happens with the NFT in the future to the original creator. But this is optional. So somebody asked before about the custom smart contracts. This is kind of like the beginning of this. So a lot of variations of different job opportunities is available, right? Some people, some artists, for example, will always want royalties. So there's a ways to facilitate this. And for example, somebody else wants to only sell without royalties. So this is also an option. And all this gives a really clear and transparent view of intellectual property question, right? I mean, I hope it answers your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, Julian. Great question. Um, North, you're up next. North.
Yeah, hello. Thank you very much, Jenny. So my question is concerning the metaverse. You mentioned that individuals could actually showcase their work there. So I would love to know what role would the DLANCE token be playing within this metaverse? Like, would there be any fee associated to the maybe the showcasing of this work, or would you be taking any fee when a particular work is being sold on your metaverse?
Um, okay, I'll try to answer it in parts. So first of all, when I was talking about showcasing experience, for example, for a freelancer, I was talking about his office. Office is something that you buy. It's an NFT, right? You can get it NFT marketplace. Of course, it's both for DLANCE token, and it's also able, like you're also able to lease it. You don't have to buy the office. You can just lease it for a day if you want to showcase something. If you sell your NFT, that was another question on the NFT marketplace. I'm not sure I can get into fee details at the NFT marketplace at the moment, but I'm sure it's like either zero or it's like a couple of percent. So yeah, it's not something we're focusing on mainly at the moment. So the main thing is to facilitate the seamless freelancing experience. Yep.
All right. So basically freelancers could actually be paying tokens via through what you're introducing. Am I right?
See the
If you,
to
yeah, go on, Alec.
No, no, I was just saying, that the tokens is primarily for doing the transaction on the Deelance platform. So, like Aska mentioned, you can buy a land, build your office, and have your office space. But that transaction to buy it needs to be done through DLANCE token. Or you can just take, rent an office, an existing office space to showcase your work or have meetings, right? So that's one side of the DLANCE token. The NFT marketplace is like where you can go ahead and, buy, sell, rent all your artwork, music work, or anything else. So that's a separate platform within the ecosystem.
All right.
Hope that answers your
Yeah,
question.
yeah, it does. It does. Thanks, thanks, Jenny.
Thank you, North. All right. Nida, Zainab, please go ahead.
Hello, Jenny. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, my question is, how would you describe the customer support offered by DLANCE, and what options do user have to seek help or address any problem they come across?
All right. See, I think your primary question is around customer support, right? And what safeguarding measures we are doing, right? If is that correct,
Yeah,
Nida?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So because see, one thing is that because everything is built on smart contract, so all the transactions which are being done are kind of taken care of, and they are on recorded on chain, right? So that gives a lot of information to everybody, all parties involved, that what is being asked to be done and what is delivered, right? So that's one. The other thing is that we are going to put together an automatic resolution system within the whole structure, so that all the issues or grievances are taken care of at the smart contract level automatically without any intervention. Suppose there's a challenge where that is not covered within the smart contract. So that's where, at the second level of support, we'll have a human person intervene and try and, get both parties into a common room, talk to each other, and help them solve the issues. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you so much for answering. And thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, Nita. Thank you so much. All right. One last question, and this is going to come from, let's see, Bard. Um, okay, Bard, if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello, Jenny.
Hi.
All right, thanks for giving me the opportunity to ask my question. So, my question to the lens is there any kind of challenge you're facing, maybe in the marketing or in partnership with some other projects? And what are they doing in order to fix these challenges? Thank you.
All right. So see, there are no current challenges that we are facing as of yet. So the marketing is going on. We are trying to be in front of as many people as possible, talk about the project, and obviously have a successful pre-sale round as well. Like the all previous pre-sale rounds which was sold out. And while the project white box is ready, and I think there's if you can join our Telegram group, there's a video available to show you how the project is coming up, how it is taking shape. So there are no current challenges as such, because we also recently raised a good amount of money from one of the VC firms. So yeah, so I think we're in good shape for now. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Thank you, Bard. I hope that answers your question. I think that's all we'll take for now. Jay, I see you, but perhaps in our next session we can take a question. I have one last question to the team from Deelance, and I think this is still centered on the ambassador, local ambassador, uh, aspect. You said that you're still working out the semantics, and fine tuning it, which is cool. But I would like to know, these ambassadors. I mean, surely there will be benefits, to them, for being local ambassadors working with Deelance. What are some of these the benefits that they stand to, um, gain as local ambassadors?
Well, that's a really hard question because we're still deciding if either it's a salary or if it's like a percentage or we give tokens because it really depends on what we demand from them. So yeah, I can't clearly answer it, but of course it's going to be um, worth their time because we want people to actually understand what's going on. Like a big problem with NFT projects nowadays, and probably always will be, right? People don't really understand the technology that's underneath because the first thing that comes to mind is the profits, right? People are there to try to play the game and like, to make some money. And there are other people who are interested in the project, and these are the people we're trying to attract. And I feel that everything has to be played fair. So the ambassadors have to be paid, and it's not just you know, like a contest gig or whatever is going to be serious. Yeah, if this is your question, yeah, I hope it answers it a bit.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Generally, yes, it does. The NFT marketplace, right? Um, what stage of development would you say that is? Like, is there like an expected time of launch? Especially maybe I don't know, is it going to be prior to the launch of the token, or is it going to be like after the launch of the token? But is there any expected time, or should I say time estimation for the launch of the NFT marketplace, or in general when things can really kick off for the platform?
Sure. So I'm going to share a bit of roadmap here, just to give a brighter view to everybody. See, like I mentioned, the prototype and the Metaverse alpha demo version are ready. So we have already, testing it in house to make sure it's available. The NFT marketplace, like you asked, should the release should be around the corner, maybe few weeks or about a month's time, somewhere around that. right? And regarding the roadmap, we've also already got pre-listed on CoinMarketCap. One of our 5% referral reward is also live right now, and we're also offering about 500k DLANCE tokens reward to top 5 buyers in the pre-sale stage, right? What we'll do is we'll obviously launch our NFT marketplace, and then Metaverse, and then the whole app will happen. And moving forward, we're also going to dedicate a lot of our time for further development and adoption of Metaverse and the NFT marketplace and the whole of DLANCE system. And that's when we will start onboarding of local ambassadors to enhance our presence globally, right? So I think that should give you an idea about the roadmap. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Could you give us a little, just a teeny tiny detail on your current pre-sale? How long it's going to go on for, and all of that before we just, end the session.
Oh, absolutely, yes. The pre-sale is still live. There's still 17 days, and there's still more money to be raised. And right now, the next price is 0.043 USDT, and the listing price will be 0.057 USDT. So, yeah, everything can be bought in Ethereum, BNB, by card even, and of course in USDT into networks. So make use of it. Thanks.
Right. So we have come to the end of the session, and honestly, I am one of those people who look forward to using the DLANCE platform. As I mentioned to Askar at the beginning, this is something that I can personally relate to. So I definitely look forward to using the DLANCE platform. But thank you so much, Askar and Alec, for joining us on this session. It was great chatting with you.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, everyone, for participating.
Yeah. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming in. Follow our Twitter. Go ahead and be a part of our Telegram group so you can keep yourself updated on the developments. Thank you very much. Have a
Right.
great day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. All right. So, of everyone who participated and stayed with us and asked questions, thank you so much. Make sure to follow them on Twitter and join the community. This is so that you can get first-hand information about everything going on with the project, and also so that you can avoid getting scammed. We know how it can be crazy in this space, right? Like I always say at the end of every session, no matter how great a project may be or how excited we are about any project that we present here, none of what we do here is financial advice, and you have the duty to do your due diligence on any project we present extensively. All right. So thank you for joining us once again, and we'll see you next time. Bye.